Let's learn how to crochet this dog. The main part of the magic ring. Hook 6 SC single crochet. Wrap the thread around your pinky. Put it on the index finger. Form a coil on the middle finger. Crochet through the loop and hook the thread through. Then wind the thread from above and bring it through the loop on the crochet hook. This is a CH chain stitch. The first stitch we don't even do as a stitch. 6 SC in the first loop. Crochet hook through the loop and hook the thread through. This time there are 2 loops on the crochet hook. Wrap the thread from above directly over the loop on the crochet hook. This is 1 stitch. This is ACH. And then this is ASC. And we'll go ahead and tick. That's 6 SCs. When you're done, this way we can learn to count the stitches ourselves. This is the first stitch. This is H. This is the first stitch. 6th stitch, then take off the loop. Find the short thread. Pull it tight until there's no hole in the center. Then we find the first stitch. Come through the crochet SSSL straight ship stitch. Then crochet ACH. This way the first loop is hooked. After hooking the CH, we'll hook 6 ink increase on the second loop. Ink is 2 SC in each stitch. The stitch size after this loop is 12 stitches. Enter the needle where the first stitch was. Hook ASC first. Then continue in this position. Hook another SC. This way the 2 stitches are 1 ink. After hooking up the 6 ink and the first ship stitch, the ship stitch is brought straight up like this. And that's the second loop. Next, hook ACH, and then a third loop. The pattern for the third loop is 1 SC, 1 ink in a group. Cyclic group of 6. The number of stitches in this loop is 18. Hook ASC in the first stitch. Crochet an ink in the second stitch. This makes a group of 3 stitches. After the last group is hooked and the first stitch is ship stitch, then hook ACH. Next, hook a 4th loop. On the 4th loop we hook this below. This is the half stitch away from us. The pattern of the 4th circle is 1 SC, 1 ink, 1 SC for 1 group, cycling through 6 groups. The number of stitches after this loop is 24. Let's pick this below and go through the crochet hook. Let's start with the SC. Then the second stitch is an ink. Inside the third stitch is ASC. That's 4 stitches in a row, all hooked up in the below. After the last group is hooked, we'll stitch with the first ship. Bring it in like this. The 4th loop is hooked. And then H. And then a 5th loop. The pattern for the 5th loop is 3 SC, 1 ink for a group, cycling through 6 groups. Hook ASC in the first stitch. Second stitch still SC. Third SC. Then on the 4th stitch, hook an ink here. This makes a group of 5 stitches. Hook up the last group and the first ship stitch. Then hook ACH. And then a 6th loop. The pattern for the 6th loop is 2SC, 1 ink, 2SC in a group. Cycle 6 sets. The number of stitches in this loop is 36. Let's start with 2SC. And then we'll hook an ink. Then 2 more SC. This way 6 stitches are grouped together. After the last group is hooked, we have a group of 2 short stitches with the first stitch. Hook ACH. Let's start the 7th loop. For the 7th circle, we are going to start adding white lines. We'll start with a group of 5 SC and 1 ink. 2 groups. 5 SC first. 2, 3, 4. After the 5 SCs are hooked up, and then an ink. That's 7 stitches in a row, the same for another set of hooks. And then still an ink. Then after these 2 groups are hooked up, let's continue down the list. 5 SC, 1, 2, 3, 4. After hooking up the 5 SC, this ink is going to start changing yarns. Hooking up 5 SC. Everybody pay attention to this last SC. Let's back it up. Back it up to 2 loops on this crochet hook. We don't normally look like this. Bring the line, and then we'll just step this. Finish with a white line. Bring the white yarn directly through the 2 loops on the crochet hook. Then we hook in the next stitch ink. When we cross the stitch, press the threads of the white yarn on top of the crochet hook. And then hook SC. And then in the same stitch, hook another SC in the unfinished stitch. This is also the state, and then we're gonna switch back to the yellow yarn. And then we are going to continue with the yellow yarn for 3 more groups. 5 SC, 1 ink. It's the same as the previous 2. And then an ink. This looks like. Go ahead and finish the remaining 2 sets. After the last group is hooked and the first stitch is ship stitch. Next, hook ACH, and then an 8th loop. The pattern for the 8th loop is 3 SC, 1 ink, 3 SC in a group. Let's hook the first 2 groups. This looks like 3 SC. 1, 2, 3, and then take 1 ink. Then 3 more SCs. This makes a group of 8 stitches. Another set of hooks. After the second set, then the third group. For the third group, note that the 3 SCs are hooked first. 1, 2, 3. And then we hook an ink. Then with the yellow yarn, we continue with ASC in the unfinished stitch. And then we switch him to white yarn. White yarn. After switching over like this, And then we are going to go ahead and crochet 3 more SCs with the white yarn. At this point, we don't need to press the line to the back, and then note that when changing yarns, to give him plenty of room, otherwise there won't be enough room for the cotton stuffing. 3 SCs hooked up here. Here's the third SC. Hook an SC with unfinished stitches. Then we switch back to the yellow yarn. And that's how we switch this yellow yarn over. After the change, let's move on to the next 2 SCs. 1, 2. Then hook an ink. After hooking the ink, we'll hook 3 more SCs. And then we'll hook 2 more. 3 SC, 1 ink, 3 SC, same as before, the same for 2 more groups. After the hook and the first ship stitch, next hook ACH, and then the 9th loop. For the 9th loop, we'll start by hooking 21 SC in yellow yarn. We'll start with 21 SC. We do the same width at the 21st SC. Hook him a SC for the unfinished stitch, then switch to white yarn. Hook here to the 20th SC and keep hooking. On the 21st SC, hooking a SC with an unfinished pin, and then we pull the white yarn through and bring it right through the 2 loops on the crochet hook. The white line here should be left a little bit longer. It's just loose like that. And then we'll go ahead and hook 5 more SCs with the white line, and we'll go ahead and hook 5 more SCs with the white line. Try not to press the line, because the colors are different. One, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5th. Hook an unfinished needle here. Switch back to the yellow yarn. It's still the same. Leave plenty of room at the back, and then we'll continue to crochet 22 SC with the yellow yarn. After we've hooked the 22 SC and the first ship stitch, next hook ACH. Then hook the 10th loop, and for the 10th loop we'll start with 20 SCs. Note that we start with the 8th loop. Lap 8 through lap 17. Here we are on 48 stitches. That's 48 stitches after all the hooks. Check him on every loop, because we are not checking any more boxes here. It's the same stitch, it just keeps changing stitches. The yellow and white yarns are alternating here. Here's the 19th SC, the 20th SC. Here we hook an SC with an unfinished pin, then change to white yarn. Still pulling him loose. After you've done that, you're going to hook 7 more SCs with a white line. Seventh SC, hook a SC of unfinished stitches, then switch back to yellow yarn. And then continue with the yellow yarn. Finish him off with the rest of the SC stitches, 1 SC, 21 in all. This loop is completed with 48 stitches. After the last stitch, ship stitch. Next, hook a CH, then hook an 11th CH. We'll start by hooking 19 SC in yellow yarn. After the 18th SC is hooked here, and then the 19th SC, hook the unfinished stitches of the SC, then change to white yarn. After changing the white yarn, hook 9 SC with white yarn. Nice here to hook an SC's unfinished stitch, then change to yellow yarn. Then hook the next 20 SC with the yellow yarn. Continue until the end. Ship stitch after the last stitch. Next, hook a CH, and then a 12th loop. For the 12th round, we'll start with 18 SC in yellow yarn. We hook the 17th SC. The 18th SC here, change him to white yarn. After the white yarn, 11 SC in white yarn. Switch back to yellow yarn here at the 11th SC. And then 19 more SC with the yellow yarn. End of crochet. After crocheting and the first ship stitch, next hook a CH, then hook a 13th CH. For the 13th loop, we'll start with 16 SC in yellow yarn. After the 16 SCs are hooked up, we are going to hook up puff stitch here on the 17th stitch. We'll start by crocheting 4 unfinished DCs double crochet. It's a long finished finding stitch. Look at the DC crochet method. Crochet around the thread through the stitch to hook the thread over. Then we wind the thread through the first 2 loops. At this point there are 2 more loops on the crochet hook. We continue to crochet 3 more DCs unfinished stitches. Wrap the thread around the needle and hook it through. Winding thread through the first 2 loops. This is the second one. And then we are going to wind the thread through the needle and bring it over. Winding wire is brought through the first 2 coils and the third. Next, hook the 4th. After this hook, at this point there are 5 loops on the crochet hook. Let's just wind the thread. Tip over. It's a puff stitch. Let's just take it through these 5 coils. And then we're gonna switch him to white yarn. And this way the white yarn is carried right through the stitches on this crochet hook. And then we pull ahead. And then the next stitch, starting with the white yarn. Hook SC. That's 14 SCs in all. In the 14th SC here, hook him up with the SC's unfinished pin, then switch to yellow yarn. Then on the next stitch it's the same thing. Hook 4 DCs of the unfinished stitch for the puff stitch. One time carry over. And then we proceeded to continue with the yellow yarn, and then we'll hook 16 more SC, all the way to the end with SC. The puff stitch can be pushed out like this. After the last stitch and the first ship stitch, adjustments can be made. Then hook ACH. Then hook a 14th CH. For the 14th round, hook 15 SC in yellow yarn. Hooking into the 15th SC, let's switch to white yarn. Once we've switched to the white yarn, we'll continue with 18 SC. When hooking over this way, note that the CH is not used as a stitch. Just skip this one. Hook a SC in the 18th stitch. This CH he is not using as a pin destination. Just skip it. On the 18th stitch, hook an unfinished SC, then switch to yellow yarn. Then crochet 15 more SC. After 15 SC and the first ship stitch. Next hook a CH. And then a 15th loop. For the 15th round, hook 14 SC in yellow yarn. Hooking 20 SC in white yarn. 14 more SC in yellow yarn. Hook the same way for the 15th through 17th rounds. There are 3 loops in total. Change yarn on the 14th stitch here. After you change the white yarn, 20 more SC. Here we hook an SC with an unfinished pin, then switch back to the yellow yarn. And then go ahead and continue to crochet 14 more SC. When you're done with the first ship stitch, the next 16th and 17th stitches is also the same as the 15th lap. Give it a finish. Here we hook the 17th loop. Next, hook the 18th loop. Hook ACH. Hook 3 SC first. Then take one deck decrease. That's 2 stitches for it to merge into one. Pick the outer half of this stitch. The next stitch is also the outer half of the needle. Crochet with over loop. The thread is then wound directly over the 2 loops on the crochet hook. This makes a deck, and then 6 more SCs below that. After hooking 6 SC, hook another deck, and then 2 SC. In the second SC here, let's change it to white yarn. After we change the yarn to white, we'll hook 4 SC with the white yarn. And then take a deck. Then 6 more SCs. After the 6 SCs are hooked up, hook a deck. Then 4 more SCs. Change the yellow yarn here in the 4th SC. After changing the yellow yarn, hook 2 SC. Then hook a deck. Hook 6 more SC. Hook a deck. And finally 3 SC hooks. When you're done and the first stitch is a ship stitch, next, hook ACH, and then the 19th loop. The number of stitches after the 18th loop is 42. For the 19th circle, we will start with 5 SC and 1 deck as a group. Hook 2 groups. Let's start with the first one. Then hook a deck. Then hook a second deck. Then deck. This deck is the same. Take an unfinished deck, and then switch to white yarn. Then crochet 2 more sets with the white yarn. 5 SC, 1 deck. and then a deck, then a second deck, the second group here is the same as the previous one, hook an unfinished deck, then switch to yellow yarn. Then 2 more sets of hooks with the yellow yarn. 5SC, 1 deck. After we've hooked up the 2 groups on our side, and the first ship stitch, then hook ACH. After this round, the stitch count is 36. Hook ACH, then hook the 20th. The pattern for the 20th loop is 2SC 1 deck, 2SC in a group. Cyclic group of 6. The stitch count after this loop is 30 stitches. Let's start with 2SC. Then we hook a deck. Then take 2SC. This makes a group of 5 stitches, crochet all in yellow yarn. Hook 6 group. The important thing to note is that when we get to this white position in the hook, you can give this thread a little bit of pressure. This presses the thread directly onto the top of the crochet hook, and then give him a couple of hooks. Ship stitch. Then cut the threads. And then go ahead and check the next box. Ship stitch with the first stitch, and then we'll add the point where we can fill him up with a little bit of cotton. After we've filled it with cotton, and then we'll go down to the 21st circle. Hook a CH first. The pattern for the 21st loop is 3SC 1 deck as a group. Hook up 6 groups, and when you're done, the number of stitches in this round is 24. Start by hooking 3SC. SC 1 deck. This looks like a group of 4 stitches. Hook 1 round, hook up the last set, and the first ship stitch. Then hook ACH. Next, hook the 22nd loop. Here we start with ASC. And then we hook a deck. Then take 2 more SC. Next, hook deck. Then hook a puff stitch in the next stitch. Hook a puff stitch in the same way as the previous one, all 4 DCs. Unfinished pin DC. Two. 3. After you've hooked up the 4, bringing through 5 coils. Then hook another CH. Keep hooking down. 1 SC, 1 deck, 1 SC. Hook 2 groups. 1 SC. A deck. And then ASC. This looks like a set off. Then we go down to the next set. 1 SC. A deck. One SC, 2 groups. And then our next stitch is still puff stitch. Two stitches. Three pins. Four needles. Carrying through 5 coils at once. Hooking ACH. Then we move on to the next stitch. Keep ticking a deck. And then 2 SCs. And then 1 deck. 1 SC in the last stitch. This makes 18 stitches in 1 round. And then the first ship stitch. Hook ACH. Then you can adjust the shape of this puff stitch. Give him a little bit of a top to the outside. Next, we'll hook the 23rd circle. For the 23rd circle, we'll hook an SC, a deck for a set. Hook 6 groups of 12 stitches in this loop. 1 SC. A deck. ASC. A deck. We have this puff stitch. It's still the same as before. Skip the cheese. Skip to next SC. Then hook a deck. after the hook and the first ship stitch. Then hook ACH. Here we'll fill him with a little more cotton. Let's fill him up a little bit. After the cotton is filled, we'll cut the threads for it. And then with a sewing needle, closing. After we put the suture needle in, pick the outer half of this stitch. Make a loop like this. After the peak, we'll tighten him up like this. And now we'll tighten it up. After you're done, let's hide this thread. A few more stitches. Tie a knot. And that's how the main body is knitted. Next, we hook the top of the head. Find the first stitch here. Through the crochet hook. And then hook the thread through. Hook to CH, then hook DC. Hook ADC, give him a blank on the next stitch, and then the next stitch into the needle. Hook ADC. Still one empty stitch. Hook ADC. This keeps looping. Empty stitch, DC. After this last set of stitches, we are in a ship stitch with the first stitch here. hook ACH, and then break the line. And now we have the top of the head. Hide the thread. Next, let's crochet the ears. Magic ring, crochet 3SC. Hook ACH. 1, 2, 3. Then take off the coil and pull it tight. And the first ship stitch. And then tighten it. After we tighten it, let's move on to the next hook. Second loop. Hook ACH. Then hook 3 ink. One, 2, 'After the 3 inks are hooked up, and the first ship stitch, 3 inks in this loop make 6 stitches. Then turn it over like this, and then tighten it up. Then hook ACH. On the third loop we hook NSC, 1 ink for 1 group. Hook 3 sets of 9 stitches. Hook ASC. Then take an ink. This way the 3 needles are grouped together. 1 SC. An ink. And then the last group. When this is done, first ship stitch, then hook ACH. On the fourth loop we hook 9 SC. Cut him the thread. And then hook 9 SC. after hooking 9SC and the first ship stitch. Next, hook ACH. On the 5th loop we hook ASC, an ink, 1 SC for group, hook 3 groups of 12 stitches. First hook ASC, then hook an ink, and then ASC. This makes a group of 4 stitches. 1 SC, an ink, an SC, and then the first ship stitch. Hook ACH, leave him a cord. We'll sew it up later. Take 2 strands of white yarn. Sewing up the inner auricle of the ear, the inner part of this ear. That's it. Sew a triangle. Following this pattern, and then fill it up. This white piece in the middle. That's it. And then we are going to take this yarn and we are going to give it a little bit of a hidden wrap. Again, give him another hook. Then we sew the ears on top of the body. Let's find an approximate location first. Stitching. When it's fixed, I'm going to wrap the threads. Then the other side is sewn in the same way. The other side is also sewn on. After sewing up the ear, let's glue the eyes. Let's get him the eyes. It's about here. Finding a centered position. And then the position of the nose. That do it.